This is Christine with Shortcut to Happiness. We are at the Conscious Life Expo 2020, and we are with
Sebastian.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
I see that you have a lot of information here, and I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
What do you think is the key or the secret to happiness?
The happiness is how you feel and what you see about yourself. Not in others, but yourself. You start off with yourself and watch how things progress around you. You ever notice when you're happy, not even money matters. What matters is what you can do for others at your happiest peak. So follow it.
So how do you see?
You mean what I do?
When you observe, no, not the seer, but when people, how do they observe themselves? I don't think they know how to.
Well, nowadays most people see themselves as having to either get across or get over or having it all. But they need to see themselves where they're at the moment. They're always looking ahead or trying to follow what they hear. It's not so much of what you hear, but it's what you're going to do for yourself. Once you reach that goal, you follow it step by step. And it's so easy to do. Love yourself.
Well, a lot of people do not love themselves. That is absolutely true. Or love themselves enough.
Because what they see a lot of tragedy around them. And all the tragedies and things that they see cause them to be more doubtful, cause them to be more depressed. So by looking the other way, even though a lot of people tell you not to, that is the one thing that keeps your happiness. That when you cross over, you'll be able to take it with you.
You kind of touched upon a grain there of what innately each individual is. They're wonderful, wonderful, incredible.
Yes. Each individual has their own gifts and has their own happiness at all times. But different times is what is most important. Because when people see you, they feel your energy, your happiness, or they feel your sadness. So you meditate on your happiness constantly. And by following in that path, things will come to you step by step.
Sebastian, what makes you happiest?
When I'm out kayaking in my kayak and fishing.
One with nature, being in the now, water flowing.
Always. Watching the waterfalls, being out in the nature, listening to the sounds of the waterfall, and hearing nature. Those are the two things that will stick with you no matter what you do or where you go or what language you speak.
I think everyone talks about getting out there in nature and being in the moment, and you will find yourself, and you can't help but be happy.
By finding yourself in nature, you'll see what God has in store for you. And if you're not into God, you see what nature has in store for you. Because nature brings you water, light, air, and fire. And without nature, we wouldn't be here. Everybody feels nature, no matter what it is. Even when you breathe the air, yet and still you can't see it, but you know it's there.
So give us your contact information so our audience can follow your work, and tell us what it is that you do.
Well, I've been reading for quite a long time. I'm what they call an empath. I see things and I hear things. I've been doing this ever since I was 5 years old. And like I said, I didn't know what I was doing until I was 8. Didn't understand what I was doing until I was 16. I've always spoke, I always spoke a little bit ahead of myself and ahead of others. A lot of people were kind of a little afraid of me because I knew before they said. And I had a hard time growing up because most of the kids and girls I had friends, I was always their best friend. Never had a girlfriend. And when I told people what I do, they kind of stood back a little bit and wasn't too sure, because back in my days, in the 50s and 60s and 70s, this was a no-no, even though it was prominent back in the 1800s.
Yeah, but some really bad things happen.
Well, we have bad people, all sorts of things, people in political, people in law enforcement. But in this, when you have a bad medium, you might say, it resonates for a long period of time. I'm not here for the money. I'm here to help the people. The money I make pays for my booth space, pays for my hotel, and that's it.
So What is it exactly that you're tapping into when you're working with someone?
When we say spirit, spirit is everything. Everything that you see, feel, touch, taste, and smell. That's what I'm trying to. Some of us tap into past relatives. Some of us tap to people that we never have met, and they come to us and speak to us. So when we say spirit, everybody does what I do. It's just more people who do it like me, who do it on an automatic, do it for a long period of time. Do it like when you ride a bike, when people fall off it, what do? You get back on your bike and you ride it again. Some people were born with voices, great voices. I'm just one of those people that has it. So when we say, what is a woman's intuition? It's the same thing. I just have more of it.
Has there been information you received that you have not passed on to your client?
No, I've always passed on the information. Even the information I'm a little scared about saying. Because if you don't, spirit will get to you. That's why I'm doing this. The spirit says, if you don't tell them, and even you tell them, and they seem to be sad or scared, they will see the truth later on.
And what about this do you enjoy the most?
Do I enjoy what?
Enjoy the most.
Well, what I enjoy the most? Well, I did say my kayak and stuff, but
With doing the reading.
when I do the readings, the most thing I enjoy the most is when I tell them and I see their face smile, or I see they come back from year after year.
Especially here, right? Yes.
Well, I'm all over Northern and Southern California. So I've been reading for over 55 years.
Wow. Wow. So what is your contact information?
Oh, I live in Sacramento, California, and my phone number is area code 916-595-4924. And my email is herbie50lee1@msn.com.
All right. And who should be contacting you?
Whoever don't have the eyes to see and whoever don't have the ears to hear.
Interesting. That might be a lot of people. Well, this is Christine from Shortcut to Happiness. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. I enjoy being with you.